Hey everybody, welcome to the D. Louise book series. I'm Christina Kristina. This is where we read books, talk about books. No special effects here, no theme music. There's absolutely nothing special going on here. But I'm just reading books, talking about books, mostly series books. I like series. I like to read about the character progression from book to book to book. Don't forget to check out Star Trek Next Generation on Fridays. Look for a new episode. We've done 87, 88 this year. So look forward to that. And next year we'll start back with Flashback Mondays. I'd appreciate it if somebody would actually watch those videos. I put so much work into them, but nobody watches them. So anyways, we are doing my 30 Days of Janet Evanovich, my 2 comfort series. We're doing Game On 28. And like I said before, I own most of my books in audio too, although in the future most of them are going to Audible. So, running out of physical audios here. We've got a character. I had to get these out. If you've read Visions of Sugar Plum, or if you've read Wicked Appetite, or if you've read Wicked Business, you are familiar with Deisel and Wolf. They've been showing up in the past few books, and I'm really not too keen on it because it takes away from our regular characters. And I really, really missed, I know it wasn't the last book, but it's the book prior to that. We had a huge, huge Deisel Wolf thing. And I just wasn't into it. It's not the same feeling in the books. And then last book we had a huge Ranger presence, and it was awesome to see Ranger on stage so much. And as one of my other authors say, when it happens on the pages in the book, that's on stage. When you're told that something happened previously, that's off stage. And while we're onto it, this is Stephanie Plum. She's a bounty hunter. Lula is her partner, although she's absent for quite a bit of this book, which just doesn't make it feel like a Stephanie book without Lula hanging out constantly. Connie is the office manager. Vinny is out of town for most of the thing. He owns the bonds business, or supposedly owns it. Harry the Hammer, his brother-in-law, owns it. We see some of Grandma Mizur. We saw a lot of her in the last book. We don't see that much of her in this book. We do see her, though. And we don't see too many of our external characters that we've gotten used to over the past. We have Deisel invaded, and he takes over most of the book. And when I want you to fill in the sentence and when I don't know what to say, or you just need to, and you can fill in the blank any way you want. So, Deisel shows up, the very first chapter, and he's looking for Oswald Wednesday. Stephanie knows this because she's also looking for Oswald Wednesday because he missed his bond. And he explains a little bit. And, it just doesn't have the moments that the previous books have had. And I really enjoy those moments. And the fact that we're coming to the end here. We're going to do Rise and Shine 29 next book. And we're going to end with Dirty 30. And then we're going to finish our J.D. Robs, and maybe we'll start a Patterson or a Coulter. We'll see how we go with that. But it just doesn't have that same feel, that same light feel that the earlier books had. It's getting a little more serious. Stephanie still can't do her job half as well, and they still fall for all these different cons, but it just wasn't the same lightness that the previous books had. I mean, I really enjoyed the last book because there was a lot of Ranger, and I like Ranger. And he's usually there to save her from all these catastrophes. He's the main hero. But in this book, he was quite absent for the first 200 pages, and it was Deisel that was doing all the saving. And I just wasn't comfortable with Deisel, a stranger, invading our myths, our character myths. And he doesn't stay for long. And then Wolf shows up for like 2 seconds here and there. And I'm like, I'm just not comfortable with him invading our character space. It just wasn't right. So, understood. Maybe you should rethink letting me live here. I don't need the recovery money that bad. Deisel grinned. That's brutal. What's wrong with me? You don't know how to share an apartment. You take it over. You have no sense of personal space or privacy. You always have to get your own way, and you have a problem understanding the concept of no. That's it? That's the tip of the iceberg. You can't stay here. I'll be uncomfortable crowded in my bed when Morelli sleeps over. I'll concede that one. I poured coffee into a gum-up and grabbed my messenger bag and sweatshirt. I have to go. Things to do. Make sure the door is locked when you leave. She tells him to leave. So then Connie says they have an FTA. Somebody needed cannolis really, really badly, and when they got to the bakery closed that day, and they shot it up. It's a little side story. It's just extra. It's the kind of stuff that we would get in a normal book, and it's just like filler in this book. Stephanie goes looking for Oswald. Lula goes with her. This is one of the few times that Lula is with her. They go investigate an attic. Some bats fly out. It's a little cute situation with Lula. Deisel shows up. Then they decide to go look for Oswald at a fancy car dealership. He was there a couple weeks ago, got a car repaired. They get plates. They know he's driving a Porsche. She goes back to the office, and she tells her that the computer hacker, Melvin Schwartz, that Melvin Schwartz has heard of Oswald. She's talked to the grapevine, her parents and stuff like that. And his group is the Baked Potato. So they go and talk to Melvin. And he says he only knows the others by their hacker names. His is Hot Whiz. Deisel explains the hackers and what's a black hat. Now they're after this guy Oswald because he's done some serious hacking. And he's also committed some serious murders. One more thing, Deisel said. Do you have any idea what Oswald might be hiding out while he's in Trenton? Does he have any hacker friends? Not that I know about, Melvin said. We left the loft and walked back to the car. What's a black hat and gray hat hacker? I asked Deisel. Black hat hackers are criminals who break into networks with malicious intent. Sometimes for sports, sometimes for personal gain, sometimes for cyber espionage. White hat hackers break into systems with owner permission and perform various services for the owners. A gray hat hacker doesn't have the owner's permission but wouldn't necessarily be hacking for evil purposes. We're asking Melvin to be a gray hacker. Yes. Where do we go from here? And they go and check out some more stuff. Sorry. It's just this guy Oswald is killing people, and the hackers broke into his system for like 10 seconds, and he's pissed off at them, so he feels that they have to die. So Deisel and Stephanie go see Melvin, then they go see Clark Stupin. They get upset when Stephanie and Deisel mention it's a cardboard. They get upset when Deisel and Stephanie mention Oswald. They're afraid of Oswald. And so they leave, and Stephanie's like, they're lying that they don't know anything. They know something, but they're lying. So, and you know I can't do these books without sharing them with you. I have to share some of the moments with you. However, this book doesn't have many moments. We thought he might have dropped in on you guys, Deisel said. No way, Clark said. He doesn't know us. We don't exist to him. Not true. Spoiler. I thought this was a good thing because from what I now knew about Oswald, I doubted he'd be happy about getting hacked. If things change and you bump into him, let us know, Deisel said. You bet, Melvin said. For sure, Clark said. We returned to my car and buckled ourselves in. What do you think? I asked Deisel. I think they're in over their heads with Oswald. I drove back to the office and parked. Now what? Deisel asked. A couple of new FTA'S came in this morning. I should try to find them. I have some things to catch up on too. We can get back to Oswald over dinner. Not tonight. It's Friday night. I always eat dinner with my parents on Friday. No problem. Tell them to set another plate. Bad idea. Friday night is date night with Morelli. We have dinner with my parents and then Morelli sleeps over. Could your life get any more tedious? It's not tedious. It's comfortable and satisfying. Deisel grinned. Like an old shoe? Like a cashmere shawl, I said. All warm and wonderful when you wrap it around you. I'm not gonna gag, Deisel said. So then she's thinking about this conversation and she goes back to the office. And she says to Connie, Do you think my relationship with Morelli is tedious? I asked her. I can't imagine anything being tedious with Morelli, Connie said. He gives hot a whole new meaning. We might be in too much of a routine, like every Friday we have dinner with my parents. Lucky you, Connie said. You don't have to cook and then you get to take a bag of leftovers and Morelli home with you. It sounds good to me. It's getting kind of old. You know, she spent almost a week with Ranger in the last book. And now we have a little bit of Morelli on the side and we've got this Deisel guy barging it and I just don't like it. If he was gonna hang around, I don't know. I just don't know how I feel about a third party. And it's just I don't know. So Lula and Stephanie go after another FTA and they're good with it. So then they have dinner with her parents and Morelli gets a call that there's been a dead body. He's got to go investigate. Stephanie goes with him. And it's one of the guys Stephanie and Deisel were talking to earlier that day. He's deceased. So then Morelli sees Deisel. Deisel is here, I said. We're going to check on Melvin Schwartz. I glanced down at the body. What's on the floor by Stupin? His tongue, Morelli said. The killer cut off Stupin's tongue. There was a loud clanging in my head, and everything went black except for tiny flash dots. Morelli grabbed me, sat in a chair, and bent me over and put my head between my legs. A paramedic came over with a pack of ice. What the fork? I said. Morelli had ice pack against the back of my neck. Are you okay? I wasn't ready for the Tongue, Morelli said. Yes, tongue. If it's any consolation, I had a moment of horror too, and one of the uniforms threw up. I sucked in some air. Okay, I'm feeling better now. Morelli walked me out to Deisel. Long time no see, he said to Deisel. Deisel nodded. I've been busy. Stephanie said you're going to check on Melvin Schwartz. Morelli said, keep me in the loop. Absolutely, Deisel said. Morelli turned to me. I'll be over later with Bob. Deisel watched Morelli walk away. Who's Bob? His dog. The big orange one that eats furniture? He's better now. He hardly ever eats furniture. And Morelli did that so that Deisel wouldn't get any ideas. So then she goes to her parents' house after this whole thing. And Grandma wants to know if she saw the tongue. It was no surprise that she knew about the tongue. My mom and Grandma were tuned into the Berg gossip line. As soon as I left with Morelli, Grandma would have called her friend Mabel Schignig. Mabel's daughter works police dispatch. After Grandma got the news from Mabel, she would have called a bunch of other women who were related to firemen, cops, EMTs, and nurses. At this point, Grandma undoubtedly knew more about the crime scene than I did. The Berg has its gossip center. The deli, the bakery, the hair salon, and the viewings. That's the social organizations of the burg. She returns to her apartment, and Melvin is hiding out in her apartment. He doesn't feel safe in his own house. Melvin says he got a message from Oswald saying retribution. Lula calls Stephanie to inform her that she had no luck trying to find who Oswald might be hanging out with in her world. And then Stephanie asks Lula if she can take Melvin for the night because she's got Deisel and other issues. Lula takes Melvin for the night, and it becomes a nightmare. She's like, he's got to go. So then Morelli comes into the picture. And like I said, this wasn't as much fun as Morelli stepped back from the counter. We did some serious damage to this cake. He pulled me to him and kissed me. I think we should move on to other activities. Television, I asked. Not what I had in mind. I thought you might be out of the mood after dinner. Interrupt us. That was a gruesome crime scene. It was, and I don't want to fall asleep thinking about it. I want to fall asleep thinking about you. Aww. I wrapped my arms around him. So I serve a purpose. You serve many purposes. Also, all of them are good. If you could learn to bake a chocolate cupcake, I might consider marriage. Seriously? It crosses my mind from time to time. And it all hinges on chocolate cake? Pretty much. You excel at everything else that matters to me. Housekeeping, I asked. No, Morelli said. Cooking in general? No. Brilliant conversation? No. Although you can hold your own when it comes to Rangers hockey and Giants football. He moved his hand under her shirt. I think I know where this is going, I said. And some women might find it offensive to be reduced to chocolate cake and sex. I wasn't one of those women. Besides, I knew Morelli was being playful. It would take more than chocolate cake to get him to the altar. He ate in front of the television or in his kitchen because he had a billiard table in his dining room. This was not an indicator of a man ready for marriage. I have some unfortunate news, Morelli said. My first thought was that in his current exploration, he might have found a lump. Oh crap, I said. I know this isn't a good way to start down the path to your bedroom, but I need to get it out there so we can move on. Tell me. It's my Uncle Sergio's 80th birthday Sunday, and we have to go. And then Sergio mistakes her for a hooker and tries to put $1 down her shirt. So like I said, Lula can't take Melvin anymore, so she takes Melvin to her parents' house. She goes looking for his, she takes Melvin. Melvin goes with her to get a Skip, and the Skip is in the park. The Skip's got to go to jail, and when they take Skip, he stays with the guy in the park for a night, and then he ends up at her parents' house. Why did I want this page? I don't think I'm going to do half of these because it's just not. It's her mother's rant. It's not as beautiful as previous rants. In fact, it's short. It's Saturday, my mother said as I put my phone away. You shouldn't be working on Saturday. You should be spending the day with your boyfriend. You're never going to get him to marry you this way. He's helping Anthony put up a fence, I said. It's okay. You aren't getting any younger, my mother said. What happens if Joseph moves on? Where are you going to find another boyfriend? There's the internet, Grandma said, and I heard Stanley Pacini is getting a divorce. He would be a good catch. He's not as hot as Joe Morelli, but he owns a Toyota dealership. He's also got 2 other ex-wives and 7 kids. So I'm really not sure. They follow Oswald around. I don't know why Deisel is so much present in these books, but I try to pick out there's another moment with Morelli because Deisel got her all upset about her life choices. Um, have you ever played golf? I asked Morelli. He mixed fried rice with ginger chicken. I played a few times with Marty Stackhouse. I liked it okay, but it takes all day and I don't have that kind of time. So it's not your passion. No. What is your passion? He stopped eating and grinned at me. Besides that, I said, I guess it's sports. Hockey, football, baseball. I like to play pool and poker. Is this about my birthday present? It's not for a couple of months. Deisel asked me what my passion was, and I said wind. Cupcake, you're always saying how you hate wind because it messes up your hair. I know, I panicked. I didn't have an answer. I haven't got any hobbies. I don't play sports. I can't cook or knit or tap dance. I'm passionless. You like superheroes, Morelli said. You're an adventure junkie. So he knows her. So Stephanie and Morelli go check on Melvin, and Andy ate some food poisoning. That's when Stephanie eventually takes Melvin to her parents' house. And then they go to get some clothes from Melvin from his place, and his place has been trashed. So they actually saved his life by moving him out. They go to Sergio's birthday, and like I said, he tried to give Stephanie $1 down her shirt for a look. It's too cute. But like I said before, the book just didn't have the feel like the earlier books did. So she tells the hospital that Andy's an FTA and that she needs to be alerted when he's released. And Andy sneaks out, so she doesn't get him. So she goes to her parents several times to check on she goes looking for Andy, can't find him. Her and Oswald do more investigating. Diesel's motorhome gets destroyed. He was in the parking lot, so he moves into her apartment. I'm not sure what the purpose of Wolf's visit was. Like I said, if you've done these, not this one, Plum Lovin' or The Wicked, any of those books, you got Wolf and Deisel in a variety of those books. But they just don't belong in our sacred Stephanie Plum books. But that's just, that's just me. You may feel differently. He shows up briefly, and I don't know what the purpose of his visit was. I was jolted out of sleep by a clap of what sounded like thunder. I looked at the bedside clock, 4 a.m. Deisel was beside me, propped up on one elbow. Clever, Deisel said. I know you're here. What's up? A soft light went on at the foot of the bed, and I recognized Diesel's cousin, Wolf. His full name is Jer Wolf Grimmore, and he lives up to the name in a diabolical, handsome sort of way. I pulled the covers over my head and inched closer to Deisel. Deisel looked under the covers at me. It's just Wolf, he said. I believe you met a couple of years ago. I peeked out and gave Wolf a little finger high. He smiled. It was the same size as Deisel, but he appeared slimmer. Less Thor, more Doctor Strange. He was dressed in black custom-tailored suit. Hello, Cousin, Wolf said. Doesn't anyone in this family ever use a doorbell? I thought, do they have no sense of time or what's inappropriate? You've made your entrance, now what? Now I wait. Auntie sends her best wishes. I looked at Deisel. Auntie, Deisel said, don't ask. And then he leaves. And I'm not sure what the point of that whole visit was. So they went to check on Melvin's apartment again, and they see this female hanging around. They take a picture. It isn't until they see Grandma sees the picture that she identifies who the girl is. She knows who the girl's the daughter of one of her friends. So there really isn't much more. They do a lot of investigating. They look for Oswald so many times. There were so many times when he came close to getting captured. Oswald does a lot of damage, blows up a couple of cars, blows up Diesel's motorhome, kidnaps, does some kidnapping. Lula gets shot. There's a lot of stuff that's going on here, and like I said, it was page 200 before we even saw Ranger, and it was very intermittent. It wasn't the quality Ranger time that we're used to in previous books. Lula spends time in the hospital, and we do have a love match made in our two computer hackers, so you'll read about that. But Oswald is really evil, and he kills quite a few people. He blows up quite a few things. It takes them a really long time to catch him. He almost kills Stephanie a couple of times, comes close. But without Ranger in the background helping her, without Morelli has a presence, but not a full presence. It's just not the same as previous books. I mean, I guess it's okay. It's Oswald is such an evil guy, and Stephanie and them are all over the place with him. But I'm just uncomfortable with so much of Deisel. Could it have been Ranger? I think I might have enjoyed it better if it was Ranger, who was our prominent guy, or if Morelli wasn't so okay with Deisel being there and sleeping in the same bed as his girlfriend. I just want something they've been stuck in this situation for such a long time now. I'd like a little step forward of something. But I'm pretty sure that Deisel is not going to be the marriage guy for Stephanie. So I don't know what's going on there. But, so you'll have to check it out. We're almost done. We're going to do Going Rogue 29 tomorrow. And we will end the week with Dirty 30. And I'm looking forward to this. But then it'll be the end. It's always sad to come to the end of a series, because then you have to wait a year for the next one. So we're going to start a couple of new series next year. I'm not sure which track I'm going to hit. Probably Victoria Thompson. We'll start out with Sarah Brandt and Frank Malloy for a couple of weeks. We might do the Women's Murder Club. I still need one last book to fill in the hole. We have Sherlock and Shavik hanging out there, Catherine Coulter's FBI series. So we've got quite a few things for the new year. I tried to do a what have I been doing video, and it's just too much. I've just done too much this year. But please hit the like and subscribe. I tried to get a Christmas miracle, and I didn't even come close. I got like 3-4 likes. I begged for 1,000. I got 3 or 4 likes, and that was it. I couldn't even reach 200. I've been doing this a year. Loser that I am here. So we'll see how it goes. Please watch my videos. Please check out Star Trek Next Generation and Flashback Mondays next year. And please join me. Thank you. Have a good one.